Welcome back, crafty friends. It is Alicia of the Call Me Crafty Al YouTube channel, and if you are joining me today for this video, that means you are joining me of part 2 of a card set tutorial. To see the original post, I'm going to link that below and I'll pop it up in the upper right corner now. I recently created this card set and fun holder for an episode of Oh So Inspired, which is the collaboration that I host here on YouTube. This holder holds 4 standard size cards plus 4 envelopes in this fun little holder here that is Velcroed closed. And yesterday I shared with you how I created the base for the cards, and today I'm going to show you how I make my holder and how I embellish the cards. If you enjoy this video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions that I don't cover in the tutorial, make sure to leave those below and I'll get back to you just as soon as I can. If this is your first time to my channel and you'd like to know when I upload other videos, make sure to hit subscribe. But for now, let's go ahead and see how I completed this set. When I left yesterday, I had just created the card bases for my cards. Today I will be showing you how I created the holder, and I'll be using this floral paper from that Michael's Backyard Table collection. I started by cutting that to 9 inches wide, so I took 3 inches off the side, and then I am going to get out my ScorIt, and I am scoring in 2 1/4 inches from the right side. The floral part will be the outside of the holder, so that gets folded in. And then instead of scoring the other side at 2 1/4, I just fold it in with my hands just to make sure that those meet. Now I'm going to be scoring the short ends, and to ensure that the envelope will fit, I scored from the right 5 7/8 inches, and you'll see there was plenty of room for the envelope. Now the front of my pocket will be shorter. I did 5 7/8, and then I believe it was 5 1/8. The next thing I'm going to do is just fold those lines so they're nice and crisp, and then we will start creating the pocket at the bottom. When you do this, you fold that line down so it's straight across with the side of the pocket like I'm showing you here. Once you have that ready to go, you press that. It's a 45-degree angle, crease that very nicely, and you're just going to repeat the same thing with all 4 sides. Once you have everything folded correctly and you look at how it's going to fold up to the holder, you'll see that you have one pocket that is going to be shorter. This is the one we're going to go ahead and put adhesive onto. Making sure you stay above that diagonal fold line, you're just going to put adhesive so you can close these and they're going to stay tacked down. Before we can adhere down the back side of the pocket, we need to create the cover that's going to come from the back to the front and keep this closed. So I'm just using a scrap of cardstock from the card set, and I cut that to a little under 4 1/2 inches wide by I think 4 3/4 inches tall. The next thing I'm going to do is make score lines in that piece of paper, and I did at 2 inches and then I think 2 3/4 inches, and then the side that's going to go into the back flap, just kind of trim those angles off like I did there. I'm going to reinforce these folds and then put adhesive on the side that I angle cut. This will then go into the flap, and I just lined that first score line up with the edge of the paper, and then I adhered the flaps on the back pocket just like I did for the front. I just wanted to make sure everything fit okay, so I grabbed some white envelopes, and then I decided I wanted to round the corner of that front flap, just to give it a little bit something extra. Now we're going to use little Velcro dots, and I got these at the Dollar Tree to keep that flap closed. I just put one piece on each side and voila, I have a closure. And now it is time to decorate the fronts of my cards. I'm going to be using this Recollections Stampin' die set and the Hero Arts Stampin' cut set for this. For my main focal point, I'm going to be using the jar stamp from this set, and I want to stamp it in a light blue, so I pulled out a couple inks. This is when I realized that the label is permanently on the jar, but that is a super easy fix when you have clear stamps. I just cut that out with an X-Acto knife, and then if I do want to use it on the jar in the future, all I have to do is just slip it right back in the opening that I created. Before I commit to a color, I did pull out another light blue ink pad that I had, and I did really like it, but I decided to go ahead and try the darker one. I did end up going with the light blue, kind of a baby blue, and I stamped 4 of those jars on my cardstock, and then next I will be die cutting those out with the dies from the set. And this is the first time I've used this set, and those dies worked fabulously. They cut it out so nice and were pretty easy to line up. Once I had all of my jars cut out, I used the topper and cut 4 of those from the pink scrap paper. Since I was on a die cutting roll, I decided to go ahead and cut out my 4 happies from the darker side of that pink scrap paper. I just love these Hero Arts stamp and cut sets. The fact that you get that die and then sentiment stamps that go along with it, and there's lots of different occasions. So here I was just trying to figure out where I wanted to place the stamped part of the sentiment, and then I stamped jars with 4 different sayings to go along with that happy die cut. Once I had all of the sentiments stamped, I put the toppers on each of the jars. And then I pulled out my favorite tool, the Xyron, to get adhesive on the back of each of my happies. Once I had removed the liner, it was time to start putting my words onto my mason jars. On this first one, I did put the happy on while the jar was not on the card front, but I found in just a little bit that it was easier to adhere that down if the jar was already on the card front, so you'll see me change directions here in just a minute. Once I was happy with the jar placement, I put a rectangle of adhesive foam on the back of the top and some adhesive just toward the bottom of the jar, just so everything stayed level on the card. Once I knew what I wanted each card to look like, I went ahead and put the 3 remaining cards together. I did have to pull out my adhesive eraser every once in a while to help with the insides of that happy die cut. after I got the 4 cards put together, I realized that they were missing something. So I went and I found some twine, and I'm going to start just carefully peeling up that foam square and tying some twine around the top of each jar. I just thought that this added some extra texture and dimension. And here is a quick look at the final cards. Thank you so much for stopping by to watch my tutorial. As always, I appreciate each and every view, each and every thumbs up, and each and every comment. As always, I hope you're having a crafty day. Bye-bye.